Well, if you haven't noticed, I finally got Jiaoqiu. Luckily, it was guaranteed, unlike another person in 2.4. I'm looking at you. But anyway, it's been a while since I did a guide for HSR, and I just got him, so kind of have to by contract basically. And oh boy, like I knew bro gonna be insane, but bro is actually crazy. So we're gonna talk about his kid, pros and cons, the best teams. I think you already know them already, best builds, Lyco, Eidolons, and all that stuff. And of course, if you like what you see, why not hit the like button and subscribe to my channel because I do make some more content to this. Oh yeah, let's run it.
Fragrance.
You know how a lot of fire characters just want to watch the world burn? Well, Jiaoqiu just want to cook his enemies alive. And all this relies on his talent, his Ashen Roche, which acts like a DOT and debuff at the same time, which can stack and you can apply it with either his basic attack, skill, ultimate, and each stack can allow you to do more damage to the enemies, stacking up to 15 to 35%, one stack being at 15 and a 5 stack, which is the maximum stack you can get, 35% at max stack. And the Ashen Roche also acts like a fire DOT, but the DOT will do the same amount of damage regardless of how much stacks on the enemies. And now here we think kind of get interesting with Jiaoqiu's ultimate. Like I know the text is absurdly long, but it's all text. But what it basically does is put this ring around you, cooking them alive. But when Jiaoqiu activates his ultimate based on which enemies have the most like Ashen Roast on them, it'll get matched to the whole enemies on fields. For example, if you have like 4 stacks of Ashen but on one enemy and like 2 and 2 on the other enemies, when the ult active, all enemies will have 4 stacks and kind of vice versa. So if you're like 1 and 1 and 1 with 3, all enemies will get matched to 3 stacks, which is pretty good, especially in multi-wave situations because like Jiaoqiu skill hit 3 enemies while the ultimate hits 5, so that's just really good. Of course, you have like Jiaoqiu 15% damage increase for ultimates. But here's where things kind of get ludicrous, especially for Akron specifically, because while the ultimate active when it's the enemy's turn, there is a 60% base chance to re-trigger a Ashen Roast effect on the enemies, which counts as another debuff that counts towards one of Akron's stacks, which just means you can get into Akron ultimate more faster thanks to Jiaoqiu and kind of definitely make Jiaoqiu the best character to pair with Akron just to get back Akron ultimate the fastest. And in an AoE situation, that will be ludicrous. And then you have it passive, so like the first one is when you enter in battle, you get 15 energy, which is pretty pog to get ultimate back. They do passive that actually makes him really good because one, based on how much effective hit rate you have on him, you get attack. And for how much you should go for to maximize this passive, if you do like 140 to 150, so like even if you go like full effect hit rate, he's still gonna do a fair chunk of damage. And this last passive mainly just for pure fiction or an MOC if you use his ultimate too early. So if a new enemy enters the battlefield, while Jiaoqiu ult active, they will get applied with Ashen Burn, but sadly this effect doesn't apply a stack for Akron. But if you have like the 4-piece debuff sets and like Akron E1, it can still count for that. It just wouldn't count for a stack for the ultimate, but if it does, that would have been crazy for real. Like on paper, he looked confusing as hell, but he actually not that hard to build, and especially the fact that he's not relying on crit rate or crit damage just makes him more variable to build. And the final thing is kit is a technique which basically applies like a ring of fire around him, which just counts as an Ashen Burn for the first few turns just to get him running. And also it counts as a stack for Akron, so W. And for priority, I would level up the ultimate because that's for the ultimate damage increase, and then you go for the talent, skill last, and then basic attack. Alright, so we know what he basically does, so now we need to give bro a like cone now, shall we?
Do I press forward or run away?
Alright, for Jiaoqiu Lyco, like it's pretty simple because one, you want a lot of effect hit rate on him, and there's a few options you can go for. Obviously, for obvious reason, his signature is his best. Like 60% effect hit rate is freaking ludicrous. Like sometimes I think these Lycons are really getting out of hand. But don't worry, you have a lot of free to play options, being the free civil Lycon we can get the F5 that gives us 40% effect hit rate and a little energy for the ultimate back. And then you have samples Lycon, but you kind of want super imposition on them because you get like at F5 the same amount as the civil Lycon being 40%. but also it gives you more dot damage. And then you have the free icon you get from Simulated Universe that just increase your break effect and dot damage, and it's pretty good for offensive builds, but I'd rather try to get his hit rate up for his passive, and of course the Ashen Roll can just apply more frequently. And if you just have Warp Lycone lying around, it's pretty good. It's also good night sleep well, which has raw damage bonus. Like if you're using like Yaoqiu with Kafka, I'll definitely go with like the more offensive option, but if you're just using it with like Acheron, I would just say just go for the ones that give you more effect hit rate, like Silver Wolf or Sample Lycone. Like it's really that simple. So yeah, let's move on.
Run faster and jump.
Alright, for a build, it's pretty simple because there's a lot you can use, especially the 2 pieces, 4 pieces, like the 4-piece DOT set or the 4-piece debuffing set. Like those 2 sets kind of depend on what team you're using. Like if you're using like a debuffing team like Acheron, you go like 4-piece debuff. If you're using like DOT teams with Kafka, you go to DLC set. Or if you're like me and RNGs that kind of want to bend you over and rail you with crappy relics and crappy substats, you got the 2-piece speed set for general use to reach like that 160 speed threshold, or just to help you get more speed between like 140 to 132. And paired up with any 2-piece attacks like DOT, Musketeer, like anything that gives you attack. And if you somehow have this, which I doubt anyone have this set again, like 2-piece fire pretty viable, but I doubt anyone has that set again. And then you have a planner set, which you have a few options. Then you have the planner ornament set, which is the IPC headquarters, which gives you hit rate and cause some attack. Then you have the whatever, the one on, I'm putting it on screen, I can't see that for the life of me. Give you some energy and that nifty turn so you can go first, so you can set up all your debuffs to get everything running. And then for like the main stance, for the body, you go affect hit rate to maximize the passive. Boots, you go speed. For the rope, you will go energy recharge just to get the ultimate of faster, or attack rope can work if you can't get yourself an ER rope. And for the orb, perfectly you want fire because for one, you're gonna have so much attack from like the hit rate passive, and you build an attack on him, so like having a fire orb is better for your own personal damage, and you have so much attack, you'll kind of get like less value. Like for me, I have an attack orb just because God has their favorites and I'm not one of them, sadly.
I have a question for the God. Why?
But yeah, attack can work just fine. Like for my build, it can definitely be better, but pretty decent, not anything crazy, like 142 speed, 140 hit rate, a decent amount of attack. And even though it's not the most optimal build, like I can definitely see a performance and I can definitely see the hype. So you can definitely like match my build or exceed my build for real. Speed, effect hit rate, and yeah, that's it. And if you have like 160 speed without the speed set, then you're better than me because I can't get lucky enough to get over 140 or 160 speed without the speed boots. Get like a very average account, so if you can exceed it, good for you.
Eat freely and don't hold back. Please, do me the honor of tasting and offering your thoughts.
Alright, for Yaoqiu best team for obvious reason is Acheron. Like Yaoqiu was made so heavily with Acheron in mind, it's not even funny. So ideally you'll go Acheron, Yaoqiu, a sustain of your choice, either Gallagher or Venturine, and between any other ability at E0 between Paler for AoE like debuffing, or Silver Wolf single target debuffing against forces. Like you pick your poison, what you need more or what you have. But also if we're talking about E2 Acheron, which a lot of people have, like Yaoqiu is more than enough, so you can go like with a army unit with like either Sparkle, Ruanmei, Robin, swapped out for Paler Silver Wolf on the 3rd spot, and obviously a sustain of your choice, and of course Acheron. And then let's talk about like his DOT side of damage paired up with someone like Kafka who can reapply it and pop it. It's basically like the same setup you use with like Black Swan with a sustain of your choice, preferably Ho-Ho, Yaoqiu, Kafka, Ruanmei, and that can actually perform pretty well, especially how much time Kafka will reapply it and amplify it. And I guess in like mono fire DOT team paired up with someone like when I for like how you use like Sampo and Black Swan, that can definitely work, but again, Since I don't really have ability characters on my account, I can't really say with those two characters good enough. I just know how powerful Kafka is. It's just pretty decent. But I can like full on vouch for him and Akron together. Like it is really nice, and I highly recommend it, especially if you want that extra boost in your easier Akron team or just want like some type of improvement in them. Like he kind of a very specific character, but also in those teams he good in, he is nice.
And that's a fact.
Of all. Now, you must make another choice.
Okay, let's talk about Bro Island because some of them are pretty good, some of them whatever, and they're worth to know if you want to get them or not, or they're worth it in general. Okay, E1 is pretty nice because one, all allies does 40% more damage when the enemies are applied with Ashen Rose, which is pretty easy to do, and the Ashen Rose stack instead of 5, it goes up to 6 now. Like for E1, this is a pretty big damage increase for your whole team. And I'm just gonna say this, Jiaoqiu E2 is stupid how good it is because it really plays into its DOT damage, making its DOT damage deal 300% more, which is ludicrous. Then you have the C3 and 5, which just talent increases, which is just good overall. Then you just have the E4, which just sucks because the enemy does less damage to you, which is whatever, but E4 kind of expected more, so it's a disappointment. And lastly, his E6 really makes up for it because if you kill an enemy, the next enemy that comes after it, like the amount of debuff will pass on to it. So if you have 5 Ashen Rose stacks on an enemy and they die, the next enemy will automatically receive 5 stacks of Ashen Rose. But then it takes it up a notch with the Ashen Rose stack because instead of 6, thanks to E1, you now have 9 stacks of Ashen Burn you can use. And with each stack of Ashen Bro, you get all elemental piercing by 3%, so 3 times 9, which is around 27 elemental resistance just shredded just for having stacks of Ashen Burn on the enemies. With it pretty decent, and for stopping point, E1 is a good stopping point, E2, and then E6. Don't ever touch E4 or beat your ass. In Minecraft, of course. And if you have to choose between the E1 or 6, that's kind of a hard decision, and it kind of depends on what you want, but I would go for the E1 because that big damage points for your whole team pretty solid. But if you're too lazy to farm for 150 effect hit rate, go for the Lycon because that gives a disgusting amount of hit rate.
The main course is done.
Alright, we had the final thoughts, and overall, for his niche, he's pretty solid, like insane with Akron, pretty solid in DOT teams. And overall, he definitely one of the better characters to go for because he buffs like one of the more meta characters, Akron. And if you pull him, there is no such thing as regret because he's like the best debuffer in the game. And for now, by far the best debuffer you would use with Akron. That will be the fastest character to get stacks for Akron. But also at the same time, if you don't have or plan to use Akron or use DOT in general, then he kind of a whatever pull to go for, and he can definitely be someone you can skip if you don't want him and you don't find him as breedable as Black Swan. You can definitely afford to skip him, but at the same time, if you do use Akron, I would highly recommend you go for him because he is like one of Akron's best teammates now. So kind of up to you, or you want Facial because you're weak and she's more breedable than Jiaoqiu. Definitely for no other reason, am I right? Wink wink. And yeah, that's about it. So guys, thanks for watching. I do appreciate you for sure. And of course, let me know what to do next one. Let me know what you guys think. What I say, could I do read and respond to all my comments. And of course, I have a Discord server where you can talk to me or anyone in my community. So come join by. I'd love to see you there. But with all that said, take care. Love you guys. And I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.